Actually, sometimes you have some spikes, but I would say, overall, the 2024 was more like an institutional bull year. So I don't see the retail volume spiking up so much. Of course, depending on our also like Google search spiking, we are kind of, like an attention derivatives of Bitcoin, of the Bitcoin price. So we sometimes see some peaks, but if I compare it to 2021, for especially February 21, there was like a huge retail bull market during the pandemic where everyone was just sitting at home and researching Bitcoin and crypto prices and FOMOing all in. And that's when you like people, were also going crazy about our app. But last year, I would say we're not in a retail bull market. It's more like an institutional bull market. So.
Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I am happy to be joined by Yannick from the Simple Bitcoin app. Yannick, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Ricardo, for the invite. Pleasure to be on the show and excited about our conversation.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on. I actually met your co-founder, Julian. I think he's your co-founder.
Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was talking to him on LinkedIn, and he was telling me about the app. I thought it was pretty cool, and I decided to invite you guys on for a podcast. So I'm very, very happy to have you here. And to kick off the interview, my first question is, what inspired you both to start the Simple Bitcoin app?
Oh, that's a long story to say, but there was a simple problem we analyzed, and that's most people don't grasp Bitcoin. So we had like a couple of years ago the idea that we wanted to offer educational resource where people could easily go through the content, as simple as, for example, using Duolingo for language learning and simplify the educational experience to learn about Bitcoin. And yeah, then we started off with the project. It was just like, seeing this need that it took so long for us also to go through all these resources that are available on the internet to create our own, which is enjoyable for people to go through and to learn about the technology.
Well, the name is very aptly put because it is quite simple. Uh, very, very straightforward. And I was telling Julian that like you guys should promote that amongst Bitcoiners because I think like Bitcoin is lacking in educational resources that are approachable from people that are like not from a technical background. Like a lot of the people I know in Bitcoin were like involved in IT in some capacity. They're familiar with technology. So it's a little bit easier for them to kind of figure it out and wrap their heads around it. Whereas with people that are like from totally different professions or walks of life uh, are not able to kind of understand Bitcoin so easily.
Yeah, definitely. Like that is our aim, to cross the chasm and to educate a broader audience about Bitcoin. That's why we're also, focusing highly on a multilingual approach. So we have, one simple course where the learners start with. So it's always first to educate people about the history of money, but not in a too in-depth version, like 300 pages of a book, like read, but more than just like a gamified experience, right? So we want the first beginner course to be easily passed in like 60 minutes or so. And then we also reward our learners along the journey with lightning rewards. And at the end, they also receive a certificate. So we have seen, that people really like to use this kind of format as we are more and more, in some side of attention economy these days. So you really, you need to engage the audience, engage people, and also while providing them some educational value. That's basically our approach.
And what kind of response have you got from people that have used the app to kind of try to understand Bitcoin?
The reviews were really positive so far, and the feedback, so far more than 150,000 people have gone through the app. It's available in English, German, and Spanish language. So that was the first one we published. But now, since almost 2 months, we also scaled up our content production and other languages and the localizations. So we also have now Arabic language, French language, Italian, and Portuguese. So we're kind of, and French, we're kind of, trying to cover more and more languages. So we have a more inclusive learning product. And the feedback has been great so far. Like people really love it. And we also had always this, limitation of producing more content that people are asking for. And that's currently also one thing we're really working at, to produce more educational resources, to introduce more formats. So it's really like an engaging experience for people to use the app.
And out of those different like geographic regions based on language, where are you seeing like the most enthusiasm for learning about it?
Mhm. Actually, it's from the US. So most of our
Yeah.
users came from the US. I mean, it's really like a highly debated topic in the US. So a lot of people are interested in Bitcoin and crypto in general. So, and we were also the ones who were really early available in English language. So it has some kind of network effect, for that localization. The second ones was the German region, so the so-called DACH region, which includes Germany, Switzerland, Austria. Also regarding because of our localization. And from there on, it's really evenly distributed. So we have people from African countries like South Africa, where I'm currently based, or here on for the Bitcoin conference. Then Western Africa, like Nigeria, Ghana, also from India, from the Philippines, from Southern America. So it's really like distributed around the globe. We are having users from almost 170 countries. So it's really like all over the world they downloaded our app resource.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Uh, like right now in the app, I know you guys covered like basic like concepts of financial education, how money works, how central banking works, that kind of thing, and then you get into the Bitcoin stuff. You just mentioned a few moments ago that you guys are going to be adding like more educational resources. How complex do you guys get in the app as it stands right now? Is it just like basic Bitcoin education, and then you're going to get like the more like technical aspects of it? Or, yeah.
Yeah, so right now we have 4 modules. The first one is the beginner module, as you just explained, and then the next one is the Bitcoin investor module, where we dive deeper into economic principles. Then there's like a technology part where we talk about how Lightning works, for example, so people can also understand how the technology works. And we're really trying to provide like a holistic experience. So people learn about the technology, but they also experience it because they will get some Satoshi rewards along the way. So they know what we tell them is not just anything like we came up with, but it actually works like it, because then they can do their first SOT payout, they experience their first Lightning transaction. So really trying to have like a holistic educational experience. And the last module currently is a specialization on AI and Bitcoin, and then the intersection of these technologies and how we think it will be playing out in the future to come. So we already seen, like AI agents controlling Lightning wallets, and also, what it means for the workforce when we have more and more automation. So, and the Bitcoin's role in that, for example. So that's the 4 modules we're currently covering, but we're currently scaling up our content production through large language models. So of course we cannot be, familiar with every subject out there, but large language models offer like a vast amount of knowledge that can be transformed into our app structure. And that's what we're currently working on, that we can provide specialization on any related subject which is interesting for our audience. So we can, tailor the courses specific to the audience, and also can launch, new modules, for example, about social currencies, so people, really can dig more deeper into the history of money, economics, technology, and everything that's surrounding Bitcoin. I mean, it's, as you know, just a huge, yeah. There's so many topics you can cover if you think about Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's very, very true. That's also very fascinating that you guys are starting to cover like the integration of like AI into Bitcoin. Uh, when someone completes a module, do you guys provide like a certificate showing that like they're competent in that like area of knowledge in Bitcoin?
Mhm. Definitely, like depending on how good you pass the quizzes and short questions along the learning journey, you get a different amount of satoshis at the end. So what we have is like we provide learning tickets, and with those learning tickets, you can claim some satoshis. So it's not like a wallet where we hold some funds, but we just do like a one directional payout to the user, so they can claim some satoshis. And also they receive a certificate as a PDF with their name and the date of issuance along with it. And they're also free, of course, to share the certificate. And I've seen it already multiple times on LinkedIn and Twitter and so forth. So I'm really happy to see that some people are using this certificate and sharing it with friends and family.
Amazing. And like the app is free from what I saw. Like there, I don't think there's any subscription model or anything like that. And you guys are also giving away Bitcoin. Like how are you guys making money off the app?
Yeah, yeah, good question. So what we use is like a freemium model, which is widely used among free apps, which means like you can pass the first quiz or first module for free. So this covers around 12 chapters. You get your first certificate, and you can also get some satoshis. But after that, we ask for a one-time purchase. So it's not a subscription; it's just a one-time purchase for a lifetime purchase, and then you have like all modules unlocked, and you have also like an unlimited news feed where you can read daily about Bitcoin news and claim also some more satoshis. And of course, I have to say that we are not giving away so many sats that you can spend it on your next grocery shopping, but just a fraction to experience the technology. Maybe you can use them to tip someone on Master, or you can just play around with it. It's an amount you can afford to lose also afterwards, or to just to be held in like a custodial wallet. It's more about the experience of using Bitcoin and using the transactions, because there's nothing than just providing theoretical knowledge, but actually using the technology, and then people understand what the benefits of the new payment system Lightning is.
Okay, cool. And then I guess when did you guys like start the app? How long has it been around?
We started in 2020, right after the halving in 2020. So we had the first launch in May 2020, actually. And but back then, it was just one single module we had in our app, and it's looked kind of different. So over time, of course, we put a lot of effort in developing it further. And also, we did it, while doing our master's degree. So it was more like a side project, and we just spend a couple of hours on it during the week. But after graduation, when we founded our company App Learning, we had the time to finally focus full time on the application. And just like 3 months after incorporation, we also integrated the Lightning feature. So we were the first to introduce this learn to earn principle with Lightning. And yeah, since then, we've introduced a couple of new features with AI newsfeed dashboards, leaderboards, referrals, and so forth. Everything that's it's useful for a gamified educational app.
Awesome. And then like right now, since Bitcoin is in like a full market and the price is like through the roof, have you noticed like a significant increase in people seeking out Bitcoin education through the app?
Actually, sometimes you have some spikes, but I would say, overall, the 2024 was more like an institutional bull year. So I don't see the retail volume spiking up so much. Of course, depending on how also like Google search uh, is spiking, we are kind of, like an attention derivatives of Bitcoin, of the Bitcoin price. So we sometimes see some peaks, but if I compare it to 2021, for especially February 21, there was like a huge retail bull market during the pandemic, where everyone was just sitting at home and researching Bitcoin and crypto prices and FOMOing all in. And that's when like people, were also going crazy about our app. But last year, I would say we're not in a retail bull market. It's more like an institutional bull market too.
Okay. And how important do you see the role of Bitcoin education uh, for Bitcoin adoption?
As you know, Bitcoin is a complex topic. We were in a favorable position to understand Bitcoin through our studies. Like we have a computer science background, so it was more easy for us to grasp, at least like the computer science background. And then also we had to do research, on understanding the history of money and so forth. And not everyone is privileged to understand or has the time to research it. So that's why we thought, we need a resource that is really compact, also in the time spent. And I also see that less and less people have the time to really read through all these Bitcoin books that are published. So I see that Bitcoin education needs to be like tangible. People need to grasp it easily. Otherwise, we have, all sorts of uh, yeah, crypto style gamble casino speculation where people are not just educating themselves about the fundamentals, but rather are like unsure about it. They just follow the hype. And what we really want to have like is the people have a better understanding of the technology and that it's something they can use for at best, for daily life. Um, yeah, but it's still a long way to go. So Bitcoin education is not something that is done after, finishing a module. You need to constantly be educated on how the technology is developing and how to use it and what the benefits and downsides are. So yeah, we're trying our best, to provide compact, insightful resources with, no speculation attached, just fundamental knowledge.
Are you personally like a Bitcoiner, Yannick? You and Julian?
Yeah, I would say so. We're in it for a while. And we also, had a lot of people we were able to meet in person in the last years. To learn a lot from people in person. And so, yeah, we had the privilege to acquire knowledge from all of them, and we're trying, to put it together into an educational product. So, yeah, that's also our background.
Okay, cool. And where are you guys based out of?
We are based in Munich, Germany. So beautiful Bavaria.
Germany has like a long history with Bitcoin. If I remember correctly, I remember like there was like Room 77, which was like in 2011 or something like that, at the first place to set like Bitcoin for beer and like
Mhm.
bars.
Yeah, actually, that was in Berlin. So they were really early on Bitcoin adoption.
Is
And
Munich
Niels
the
was
same
like,
way?
it's not as big as in Berlin in regards to Bitcoin, but I would say it's the second spot. So we also had like, really early meetups where we met, and we also had like community initiatives for education, like holding talks or giving presentations. Also as early as 2018 about lightning technology, how it works in detail. So there was always a good networking opportunity to come together and talk about how the technology is progressing. And of course, also about Bitcoin price and everything. And there's sometimes, newbies appearing. And I also, witnessed that situation that I had to explain stuff always from the beginning on. So, whenever the new ones coming into the meetup, you had to start from scratch. And that's why I also thought about the app resource, because I thought, oh, if I just had, this resource, I could tell them, okay, just go through this course, it will probably take you an hour. And, that's how I can scale up this effort in spreading information about it. So, yeah, that's also one thing that I saw it firsthand, the issue of always starting from scratch to tell people about Bitcoin.
The company's name is App Learning, and we're talking about simple Bitcoin app, but App Learning implies you guys have other apps. Do you have other apps?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Like also you have asked about our business model. So we're not solely dependent on simple Bitcoin app. We have produced multiple apps. We also mainly active in B2B app production. So we create learning academies for our clients. They just tell us, they want an app about a specific subject, mainly, about crypto. And we then draft out all the educational resources, and we transform it using we're using our structure with gamification, talk questions, everything. And yeah, this can be used to educate your employees about it. We're doing it for a large crypto exchange, for example, to do their crypto education for all 500 employees. And also it can be done for their users. So we're active in B2B2C, but also in B2B. So yeah, we have at least launched 10 white label apps using our framework. And there's another retail app that is available, which is called Simple Stock. It does not talk about Bitcoin. It's mainly about, investing in general. Why should you save for the future? What is the difference between bonds and stocks and everything surrounding it? And people also get their first Satoshi. So it's for another audience that is mainly interested in the stock market, the normal financial system, let's say, and they will also get some Satoshi rewards along the way. So they can also get a little bit into Bitcoin.
That apps that you do for like company education, you said you focus mostly on crypto companies. Do you have other crypto apps? Like, is there like a simple Ethereum app or something just for like the public?
No, it's not available for the public. We have apps that are published under our client's license, so it's not our app officially, but we provide, but what we have is like a framework that is content agnostic, so we can, of course, produce materials about every subject, and but it's, mainly dependent on our client's wish. Like if they want to have some sort about their own token or about yeah, just like DeFi in general, for example, to explain the concepts. We can also help with that. So yeah, we are kind of content agnostic in the sense that we produce the materials for them.
And then if anyone is watching this and they think this is an awesome idea and they want you to like make an app for their company, how could they go about doing so?
Yeah, like first we look into what are the good requirements, like what is like the sense of wording, like what is this the persona they want to address, and is it for their employees, is it for their users, how many modules you would like to have, do you need reworks and stuff. So it's really like requirements engineering at first, and then we can jointly lay out the foundation on how to create an Academy app, which is either an iOS app, an Android app, a web app, or all platforms covered at once. And recently, we also introduced like an in-app integration, so there will also be available and yeah, a large wallet here in the European Union where they have like a dedicated section to educate the users about Bitcoin, for example. And this is also one service we provide. So we also now do in-app integrations. So we have multiple products available.
Amazing. And back to Simple Bitcoin app, you mentioned that you guys have new modules that you're going to be working on. Are you allowed to discuss what those are going to be? Like what topics you're going to be covering?
Oh, I don't want to spoil it too much, like people have to check it out in the app. But yeah, it will be available soon.
Okay, cool.
Also more languages to come, so we can also will focus on niche languages soon. So yeah, we really, trying to spread the word.
What regions do you feel are like the most important to provide Bitcoin education for that you're not covering already?
Oh, it's a good question. Recently I've been attending just 2 weeks ago the Adopting Bitcoin conference here in Cape Town.
Okay.
It was super interesting to witness all the initiatives from the African Bitcoiners. So not just from South Africa, but from all over Africa. And they really like, have like this cypherpunk ethos that they just built, whatever. Because I mean, it's an open ecosystem, you can just build a solution. And what is super interesting also to, to have these kind of bridges. So you have like, for example, the M-Pesa system in Kenya, and then they build like an M-Pesa bridge with Bitcoin Lightning. And they also, mentioned that, of course, money is a trust game and people lack the trust because probably they have been scammed in the past through online stuff, or they don't even, know nothing about Bitcoin. So there's always like this, yeah, to the I would say the need is especially, of course, there where people cannot educate themselves about it just through searches or something because the materials lack in their own language. So, for example, if you're an American, or I mean, like the most resources are available in English language for Bitcoin. So it's easy to, just spend time on it and you probably will find the right sources. On these niche languages, it's really hard for people to find good resources, but probably they will need the technology the most, as they are really lacking by basic financial inclusion. So that's where I see like a huge opportunity to where Bitcoin can drive in the future, not just Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin Lightning, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say, like, even in my own experience, like, as an English speaker who speaks Spanish as well, like, finding good resources in Spanish is very, very difficult. So I could just imagine how difficult it would be to, like, find it in Swahili or like one of these languages from Africa. Uh, Africa also has like a booming peer-to-peer market. It's like the biggest market for direct peer-to-peer trade. So there's very, very much interest in Bitcoin due to like the monetary instability with a lot of the African currencies. Like people really, really need it, like out of necessity rather than out of curiosity to use it. Like, like people in Germany or like the US, they don't really need Bitcoin, but like people in Africa do.
Yeah, well, like you said, they have really like fragmented currency system. Like all, I mean, across the African continent, there's so many currencies, and they have a high capital controls, and it's really a pain for them just to send money to relatives if you're working abroad, for example. So this typical remittance case is also very important here. I think there are a lot of solutions already built, in Latin America. These will be also built out for Africa. And yeah, I see, a huge opportunity as Bitcoin as having like a unified network, a unified yeah, currency across the continent.
Do you see any potential for like Asia or like Southeast Asia, India, the places like that where they're also having a huge amount of adoption, but may have barriers to accessing quality information?
I guess so, but from my personal experience, I can only tell that, they have also a lot of payment systems in place where it's not such a big issue, when it comes to payments, for example, where Bitcoin Lightning could be something that arrives there. But yeah, um, I think you have to look at the data. I can only tell from my personal experience.
What can we expect from Simple Bitcoin app and app learning for 2025?
Yeah, as I already spotted, you can expect more materials, specializations in a simple Bitcoin app to also, learn more about all the topics surrounding Bitcoin. So the bigger picture, will be more incorporated in the educational materials. Also, we're launching some new AI features, which makes it even more personalized. So look out for that. And when you're not, looking at simple Bitcoin, you probably will see our, services integrated into other academies around the globe in various languages.
And you keep bringing up this topic of AI and Bitcoin. What predictions do you have for AI and Bitcoin like over the next few years?
So, I mean, we're currently riding like a huge automation wave. Bitcoin is a scarce currency, and as we, have more and more interconnected services, I see, the value in having AI agents also being paid and Bitcoin as we're having more open source modules or more autonomous AI agents. So that's really something I'm looking forward to. And also, we it's hard to predict like what this kind of automation wave will do to traditional workforce and also therefore through to the devaluation of currency. So there's also something Bitcoin, as we know, is a protection against. So there is just a huge trend, and you have to be on the right side when picking Bitcoin as your unit or savings account. So yeah, better use Bitcoin earlier than later. Yeah.
So these AI agents, they're going to be like operating autonomously and being paid in Bitcoin and then paying each other in Bitcoin. So do you see like a huge use case for like these machine to machine like micro payments?
Right now it's like a niche of a niche, but I think it will grow in size dramatically over the years. So as we've seen it with DeepSeek, it was a huge success, but it's also an open source large language model. And I think, more of these modules and then therefore the agents based on top of it will be open source. And there will be some sort of AI agent economy, or as you mentioned, the machine to machine payments. And if you think about what is like a suitable currency, which can be internationally used, not dependent on the traditional financial system, you will be pointed to Bitcoin because of its network effects and scarcity. So, yeah, it's it's two trends, like fusioning over time.
Okay, cool. Well, Yannick, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to close out the interview here in just a moment, but do you want to give out your social media, the website, and any other pertinent information?
Yeah, yeah. So you find Simple Bitcoin on simple-bitcoin.app. You also find it directly in the App Store. If you want to message me, please feel free to on app-learning.com. And you can also contact me on LinkedIn. So always feel free to shoot me a message. I'd be happy to discuss Bitcoin education or education in general and how to scale it up. And yeah, Ricardo, thanks for having me on the show. It was super interesting to talk with you. And yeah, wishing you a great day.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'd love to have you back whenever you want to come back on.
Oh, for sure. We'll talk about AI agents in the next year.
Yeah.
Okay.